This is RestoreX.
Welcome to RestoreX, where forgotten vehicles are restored with patience and precision. No shortcuts, just real restoration.
All right, here it is. Not the prettiest sight, but this is how most real restorations begin. Yep, that's pure rust. You barely touch it and it just falls apart. This panel's been gone for a long time. Underneath is even worse. Original suspension, original hardware, and everything seized. From a few feet away, it almost fools you, but once you get close, you can see how much metal is actually missing. Before I tear anything apart, I always take reference photos. These little details matter more than you think. This is where the planning starts, mapping out the rust, the cuts, and how the new metal needs to sit. No rushing this part. All right, getting it up in the air. Solid ground, solid stands. And once the fender comes off, yeah, there's no hiding it anymore. That metal's completely done. Factory diagrams help keep everything in perspective. If you're gonna fix it, you might as well fix it the right way. Starting underneath now. Every bolt fights back on a car like this, so it's slow pressure and a lot of patience. Headlights coming apart. I'm labeling everything right away. Future me will be thankful for this. This badge has seen better days. Rust everywhere, but it still feels wrong to rush this part. All right, windshield's coming out. Slow pressure, steady hands. Glass doesn't give second chances. This sealant is hard rock. Old repairs, old shortcuts, all of it has to come off. Seats are out now. The foam held moisture for years, and the metal paid the price. I've pulled more rust than dirt out of this trunk, but now we can see what's actually solid. Dash is stripped down. Brittle wiring, tired connectors, everything gets checked before it goes back. Every part gets bagged and labeled. Organization saves hours later. Dash is coming apart next. Cracked wood, brittle wiring. This interior's been tired for a long time. Ending this section under the hood. It's dirty, neglected, but I can still see potential here. All right, engine's coming out now. This always feels like a turning point. Once it's out, there's no going back. With the engine out, the firewall tells the truth. Hidden rust, old holes, bad metal. Now looking at the front suspension. Everything's original, everything's tired. Nothing here owes us anything anymore. Breaking loose the axle next. Old grease, stiff joints, years of neglect right here in my hands. Cracking the brake line carefully, letting everything drain out before teardown. Starting at the rear quarter now, you can see how the rust is spread under the paint. This panel's been hiding a lot. Before going any further, I'm setting up the space. Dust control matters. This keeps everything else clean. Now working inside the wheel arch, blasting everything back to bare metal so I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Once everything's masked off, it's time to commit. This step gets messy, but it tells the truth. Switching to sanding now. Slow passes, feeling the surface change. This is where rough metal starts turning into something smooth again. Working around the windshield area now. Brushing this in slowly, making sure it seeps into every crack. Back to blasting, focusing right on the problem areas until clean metal shows up. Now I'm marking out the bad metal. Everything inside these lines is getting removed. No point saving what's already gone. Cutting starts here. Once sparks fly, there's no guessing anymore. Opening the panel up completely now. Grinding everything flat so the repair can actually last. Working this corner slowly now. Knocking loose what's left of the bad metal so I can see where the solid steel actually starts.
masking this section off and sealing it. These inner areas matter. Before cutting anything else, I'm taking a reference photo. This helps me copy the shape exactly later. Now I'm laying out a template. Cardboard first, adjust the curves, check the fit, and make sure it matches the body lines. Once the template feels right, I transfer it to steel and start cutting. This piece is going to replace everything that was lost.
Now I'm shaping the patch. Slow taps, checking the curve after every pass. Time to weld it in. Small tacks, spaced out. I don't want heat to pull the panel out of shape. Once it's welded, I seal the seam. This keeps moisture out and protects the repair from the inside. Block sanding starts now, using long strokes to keep the panel straight and let the highs and lows show themselves. Finishing it by hand, feeling the surface more than looking at it. This is where the repair disappears. Laying down the primer now, slow passes, watching the surface change. This is where everything starts to feel clean again. Wet sanding by hand. You can actually feel the panel smooth out under your fingers. Wiping it down and checking it under the light. Every reflection tells you something. If there's a problem, this is where it shows up. Setting up the booth before paint. Covering everything, keeping the dust out. Final wipe before color goes on. The panel's ready now. All the rough work's behind us. Now I'm laying down the black on the roof. Nice and slow passes here, no rushing it. You want the paint to flow evenly and settle clean. I always keep one hand on the panel to feel the surface. If it feels right, the spray is right. Moving on to the hood now. Steady motion, consistent distance. Once the paint is set, I clean the surface and prep it for finishing. Every mark you miss here will show later. Now we're cutting and polishing the fender. You can actually see the shine waking up. This is the moment when all the work finally pays off. I'm underneath the car now, cleaning out the old grime and buildup. Here I'm sealing the seams along the floor pan. Now I'm pressing in the suspension components. Slow pressure, straight alignment. Bolting everything up underneath the rear end. Fresh paint, clean hardware, solid fitment. Installing the brake components and tightening everything down. All lines clean, all fittings snug. Now I'm tightening down the front suspension. Everything lines up clean when you take your time. Over on the bench, I'm rebuilding the alternator. Fresh bearings, cleaned housing, smooth rotation. Dropping the engine back into the bay. Slow, controlled, eyes on every clearance point. Lining up the transmission and locking everything in place. Once it seats properly, the rest comes together naturally. Now I'm connecting the engine wiring and setting up the ECU. Every plug is labeled so it's slow but straightforward. Inside the cabin, I'm laying down sound deadening, rolling it in tight so it bonds properly. Test fitting the insulation and trimming the carpet to shape. Everything needs to sit flat with no tension. Hooking up the dash wiring and controls now, taking it one connection at a time. Bolting the seat into place and locking it down. Now I'm installing the wood trim inside the cabin. Setting the windshield back in place. Even pressure all the way around. You feel it seat properly when everything lines up. Installing the front grille and badge. This is the face of the car, so I'd take my time here. Testing the front lights now. Everything lights up clean and even. Checking the rear lights and signals. Brake lights, indicators. Moment of truth now. Watching the gauges, listening carefully. Oil pressure comes up clean. Making the final adjustments while everything's warm. Belts are tracking straight, no strange noises. The engine sounds healthy. Checking the brakes, measurement, and setup. One last time,
Everything measures right where it should be, giving the paint a final polish in the evening light. Slow passes, light pressure. Last step, dressing the tires and stepping back. Just giving the grille one last wipe. Inside the cabin, a final clean before the drive. Everything feels tight, solid, and intentional. Taking it out for its first real drive. Steering feels smooth, throttle is responsive. Last look before the sun goes down. Every line, every curve, exactly how it should be.
This one took time, and there's a lot more coming on RestoreX. Let me know in the comments which car you want to see next, and if you enjoyed the journey, like, subscribe, and stick around. Thanks for watching RestoreX.